Android app to demonstrate basic controls, taking user input, event handling, intent, and list view by generating Fibonacci series. I've missed one, which is progress dialog. Okay, I'll put that also in this program so that we get exposed to a lot of things in one program itself. I hope I think we can start, right? So let me go back to Android Studio. So remember the question was very simple, generate Fibonacci series. Okay, now before I even begin the program, let me have a quick glance, or let me keep this in mind before I start with the program. Okay, how my app should look like. You guys know that every program or every app which I'm going to do in this sessions, okay, I will first keep explaining how that program output should look like. Okay, that's what I'm telling you guys to do for your project also. So I'm just giving a small example of how you will have to design, or how you have to take it forward. Okay, so I think it's better to open, I'll just open Paint, and I think I'll just show you what I'm trying to tell. Okay, so I'm just trying to create a small an app, okay, in which I'm going to ask the user to enter a number. Okay, so let me just ask the user to enter a small number. Okay, and I will be putting one button below it. Okay, this is just a prototype, guys. I can just draw it in hand, but since it is not in a board, I'm putting it in Paint. Okay, so I'll ask the number, I'll ask the user to enter his number. Okay, so let me just say enter number, or enter series, something like that. You can give whatever you want, it's up to you guys. Okay, so that is enter number. So once you enter a number, and here I'll be putting the word submit or generate, something like that. Okay, so once you click on submit, I take this number what you have entered. By the way, I'll put a title here. Once you have given enter, I'll be showing a small progress bar here, and you go to the next page. Okay, the next page, what will I see? Okay, in the next page, basically I'll be just seeing some list. Okay, I'll be just seeing basically some numbers, a list view of those numbers. That's all I'll be seeing. So basically what I'll be seeing here, I'll be seeing 0 here. Okay, and next one I'll be seeing 1, and the next one I should be seeing 1 again. Fibonacci, right? So here it should be 1 plus 1 2, and here I should be able to see 2 plus 1 3, and here it should be 5, and here it should be 8, and I should be able to scroll. Okay, this is just a prototype. I hope you guys follow. What am I trying to tell here? One activity. This is activity number 1, and this is activity number 2. So in first activity, what should I see? I should just see one text box, one submit button. Okay, so once you click on submit or generate, whatever name you want to give. Okay, when you click on this, I should take this number. Let's say, for example, you entered 5. Okay, I should take 5 and go here and generate 5 Fibonacci series number and display them here neatly in a list view. That's all I want. This is my program. And what I've done right now is basically called as a prototype. Okay, what do you mean by prototype? Just an idea of how my app should look like once I'm done with this particular program. I hope this is clear to you guys. This is a prototype. Okay, you can discard it. Obviously, I'm just telling this. This is a simple program, but in a complicated program, you can easily do this. First screen, what I'll see. Second screen, what I will see. In the first screen, this button, if you click, where will I go? Next button, or the third button, if you click, where will I go? All these things, you should picture it out and keep it ready. Okay, just a pen and paper is enough. Not required to do it in Paint like this. Okay, this looks more uglier than if I have done it in a board or paper. Okay, in paper, I'll be able to do much neater. Okay, so anyway, I hope you got it what I'm saying. So let me just close this. So let me go back to Android Studio. Now, you know what I'm looking for. I need to ask the user to give one number. And second thing what I want is, I want him to click on a submit button. So first what I'm going to do is, I'm going to put a label, okay, which says the title of my program. Second one, I want a text box which will take a number. So I'll just take a number below that. Last one, I want a button. That's it. So I've got all the controls here. So first one, now my design part is done basically, but I need to beautify it. Okay, so I have a text view, I have a text box, and I have a button. So let me just click on each and every one and try to change its attributes. First one, text view. So text view ID I will change first. Okay, so let me go to the ID and put it as, this is the label, guys. So I'll not bother much about the ID, but still, I'm going to say label. Always click on refractor, don't click on preview because it will just show you what it is doing. Okay, so I'll just change its refractor. One is done. Okay, and now I'll also say I want it to be in the middle. So I'll search for gravity and I'll say center. So it will come in the center. First thing I've changed. Next thing what I want is the size or the text. Text I'll say Fibonacci series. That's all. And I'll change the font to, let's say, caps or something. Yeah, small caps. And I'll change the size of this to large. I think that's enough. Or if you want, you can keep it bigger also. All right. Then size, anyway, it's chosen. Color, I'll just choose some color. Or you can choose your own color, whatever you want. Make it bold. Okay. That's the title of my app. Okay, and second one will be the text box. Okay, so the text box, what I'm going to do is I want to name it first. All right, so I'll be putting the name as ET limit. What do you mean by limit? How much numbers you want? Okay, so for example, if I say 5, I'll generate 5 Fibonacci series numbers. Okay, that's what I'm looking for, and also I'll refractor it. Okay, if I don't refractor, it will not change in the XML, guys. Please remember that. Everywhere this is referred, it should be changed. That's called refractoring. I'll talk about refractoring in another class. And you see that this is too close to everything and it's too big also. So let me just look for something called margin. Layout margin. I'll give a bigger margin. Okay, so that the text box and all those things will be kept a little bit away. You can give it bigger also. Okay, so I leave it to you guys how you design it. So I have a text box here. Now let me go to the button, and in the button, I think text box work is done. Nothing else to be put there. If you want the text box's font and color, if you want to change it, you can do it. And since the text box looks plain, I'll also add one more thing called hint. Okay, I'll just say enter limit for Fibonacci, or I'll just put enter limit. That's all. Okay, by the way, I'm hard coding everywhere, guys, because I don't have the time and patience to internationalize each and every app which I'm doing right now. But please remember, whenever you have time, please do make sure that you support. No need for any language, but always create your, or in other words, give internationalization option. Don't give localization. Do internationalization. I hope you now you understand when I say something like that. Okay, do internationalization in your apps. I am not doing because of the lack of time. And since it's online, I don't want to waste time on that. But I guess you guys know what I'm talking about. Do internationalization in all your apps. Localization is persons who are taking it. They'll adapt it. But you should give a choice to adapt. If I type like this, I'm not even giving a choice for you to adapt. Because even if you are ready to change this into in any other language you want, you will not be able to because I'm hard coding it here. All right, so that's why I'm saying give always a support to different languages. But in other words, just make sure that your app is internationalized. Localization is somebody else's problem. But if you don't do internationalization, nobody else can give you translations. Okay, so I'm just writing right now because I'm not having time for that. So I'll just put hint as enter limit. Okay, wherever text comes, you can bring internationalization. Remember this. Okay, that's it. My text box's work is done. Let me go to the button, and in the button, let me name it BTN generate. Okay, and refractor. I'll also, the text of the button, I will say generate, or click or submit, or whatever you want to give. Okay, that I leave it to you. Then let me also change the margin, like how I've changed for this one. Okay, let it not touch anything. So I'll just say 50 dp. It'll shorten it because all the four sides is given 50 dp. Okay, I can also obviously give more than that. Okay, however you want it. And as you give, it gets pushed and pulled and all those things. But anyway, I've kept the layout gravity to center. So it's always any screen size, it will be in the center of the screen. Okay, so bigger screen also, it will be the same thing. Same thing. So I've got my design ready. Let me go back to the code. Okay, I hope this code is, this design is done. Is there any other issues to be taken care of? You can do it. Okay, if you want to change the text inside the button also, you can do it, guys. Okay, I thought this and all you will be able to tackle on your own. So I've not highlighted it anywhere. But if you want, you can obviously take any font size or color. Okay, right now the system is picking its own color. Okay, so you can change it obviously into whatever color you guys wanted. Okay, so you can keep the button however big you want, however small you want. Okay, I'm going to just keep large, and font you can choose again. Okay, I can choose however I want and leave it there. And the color, right now it's white. If you want, there's a foreground color, there's a background color. All right, so you can also choose corner radius if you want a rounded rectangle button. Like that, lot of things are there. Ripple color is the color what you get when you move on it, when you tap on it. That small ripple effect which happens. Okay, what color you want for that? All those things are there. Okay, experiment it when you have time, guys. I don't want to discuss that and waste time now. Let me just go to the code part. Okay, so this design is ready. Let us all finish the design part completely, then we'll go to the code part. Now this is one activity where I take the number from the user. Once you click on generate, let's say for example you type 5 and you press on enter, I need to take you to the next page, next activity. So let's add a new activity. All right, so I already have one activity called main activity. Let me right click on the app, new activity, empty activity. Okay, don't choose basic right now. We'll go into one by one. Empty activity, and let me name it as Fibo activity. That's the Fibonacci series activity, which has the actual result. Okay, and let me keep it as activity underscore Fibo. All those things are same, no changes. Let me just click on finish. So basically, I have two different activities. Okay, just like how I kept in my prototype, I have two activities. One activity to take the number from the user. When you click on submit, I should go to the next activity with that number and generate a Fibonacci series and show them in a list view in the second activity. Okay, or the Fibo activity. So I have two activities open here. I hope you guys can see that. Okay, so one is main activity, the other one is Fibo activity. Okay, the main activity design I'm finished. Fibo activity, what are you looking for in Fibo activity? Simple. I just want a list view. Okay, and since it's the first class, I don't want to use a recycler view, which is a little bit more advanced. Let me use the legacy old one, list view. Okay, so I'll go to palette. In that one I have legacy. Let me just drag and drop one list view onto my screen. Please note, list view says item sub item 1. Okay, there are different types of list views. I have already discussed that in the layouts, I suppose. I'm not sure. Okay, but I think yeah, in the layouts I have discussed about list view. Right, the different types of list, single letter, double one, with an image, all those things. List view is a very commonly used control. Okay, so let me just apply constraints because I'm inside a constraint layout. So this is the component tree, and let me also name this list view. Okay, so I'll name it as LV Fibonacci. Okay, list view, short form LV. I put Fibonacci series. All right, so this list view is inside the constraint layout. Okay, you can see the tree structure. Okay, so this list view is inside this constraint layout. Simple. All right, so that is done. My work here is over. So first activity design is done. Second activity, only this much. Okay, now you might ask, nothing is visible. I can't see anything here because you have not programmatically put that. Your work is to programmatically do that. So that is, I'm keeping separate. Design part, only this much. Okay, design part here, one part is done. Second part, design is also done. Okay, now I'll go to the code part. What should I do in the first activity? What should I do in the second activity? Okay, first, before even I write the code, let me put it in English words, then we'll put it in code. Okay, listen carefully, guys. I will not be doing any activity till you click on the button. That much is clear, I hope. Okay, so till you click on that particular button, I'm not supposed to do anything. All right, so once you click on the button, I'm supposed to find out what you have typed in the text box. Okay, so whatever you have typed in the text box, I'm supposed to take it and send it to the second activity. Whatever you have typed in this particular text box, once you click on this button, I'm supposed to take that value and pass it to Fibo activity. Okay, that's all is the work. You are not generating Fibonacci series in this activity. You are basically generating that series in the second activity. Okay, I hope this flow is clear. All right, so when you click on, you put a number and you click on generate, I'm taking that number and I'm passing it to Fibonacci activity. That's all. First activity, only that much work is there. But I'm going to add one more small extra like masala kind of thing, is that I'm going to show you a progress dialog. Okay, before going to the next activity, most of you would have seen this. Please wait while we load this application. Please wait while we load the next page or something like that. I am going to do that only. Okay, by the way, here it is not required because it's a simple program. It just takes the value, goes to the next page. But in case you are doing a complicated operation in the background, you need to ask the user to wait till I finish my work in the background. Okay, like for example, when you are taking backup in Google, or when you are taking backup in WhatsApp, okay, while that loading or the backup process is going on in the background, okay, they'll show you a progress dialog saying that backing up, please wait. Okay, so while that happens, you'll be able to only see the progress dialog. You'll not be able to interact with it. Okay, that I'm going to show. All right, that's what. And since I don't have a tedious or a heavy process, I will only initialize and ask them to wait for 5 seconds before going to the next page. That's all. Okay, that so that I can introduce two more logic here. Progress dialog. Next one is countdown timer. Okay, so I thought I'll show those two also together. But let me do the basic one first, then I'll add the masala thing. Okay, so let's go first. Let's go to main activity. Now, in the code part, all I need to do is when you click on the text box, I want to do something. Okay, but basically there are three controls on the screen, but only two I'm going to interact with. So let me first initialize them globally. Okay, so I'm going to say private edit text. Okay, I'll name this as limit txt. The limit will come from this text box. Second one is the button, private button gen btn, generate button. That's all I'll keep. Okay, so these two are only initialized, guys. I've not instantiated them. So as soon as this activity gets created, first let us map these two controls. So I'll say limit txt is equal to find view by id r dot id dot et limit. That's the text box. Second one is gen btn is equal to find view by id r dot id dot btn generate. Okay, so I hope this is clear. I've only done that much. So as soon as this page loads, I am recognizing what are the controls which are there on my screen. Simple. All right. Now my next step, attaching a listener to this particular button. Okay. Once this button has been clicked, I need you to pull whatever is typed in this text box. This is the simple way of telling it. But in Android, I discussed in this previous class of event handling, where I told you there are three ways in which you can do this. One, attach the listener to the object. How do I do that? Okay, I'll just put the object name called set on click listener. Sorry, on click listener new view dot on click listener. This is the first way I've told you to follow. But I also told you this is only good when you have only one button or one event handling person to listen. Okay, in this case, yeah, I have only one. But later, what if I tell, like say for example, I've given Fibonacci series in the record. Okay, but now after that, I will give you guys to do one program. Same program, put two buttons. One button will generate Fibonacci series number. I'll ask you guys to do a second button which will generate prime numbers. Okay, I hope you got it. Let's say for example, if you put 5 in the text box, and first button when you click on, I want you to generate 5 Fibonacci series number. But if I click on the second button, prime number, I want to see the first 5 prime numbers on the next page. Okay, so I'll have two buttons. I am thinking futuristically. Okay, right now there is only one button. But if I write like this, another button if it comes, again I'll have to write the same code once again. So always second way is preferable if you are not sure that you will be having more than one control. Okay, in this case, I'm very sure I'll be adding one more because I'm going to give that as a homework for you guys. You try, I'll be doing Fibonacci. I'll ask you to do prime number or any other number for that. Any other number series you want. Okay, so or even numbers or odd numbers, doesn't matter. Logic can be copied from the internet, but the concept you'll have to learn. Okay, logic you will get it. Whatever logic you're looking for, you'll find it online. But how to apply that in Android is the biggest challenge we have in front of us. So that's what I want you guys to get familiar with, and you should be able to easily tackle this. So I'm going to remove the first method. I'm not going to follow the first method. I'm going to follow the second method of attaching a listener. Okay, so or I can you also use the third method. I leave it to you, but I'm going to use in this program specifically the second method. Okay, I'll be using all the three methods interchangeably in programs, guys. Okay, so that we get used to or accustomed to all those things. Okay, previous program where I did adding two numbers adding two numbers, I did the first method. Since this is the second program, I'm doing the second method. How do I do the second method? First method is attaching the listener to the object. Second method is attaching the listener to the class and then asking the button to listen to the class. How do I do that? I told this in the previous one. I hope you remember. Let me just write implements on click listener. When you implement an interface, you also have to implement all its methods. Okay, so let me click on OK and it automatically adds one method. Simple. But I'm not done. Only first part of the second method is done. Second part is attach or ask the button to start listening to this particular class. So how do I tell that? Genbtn dot set on click listener to this class. That's all. Now the code looks a little bit more understandable. It's easier and it can be adapted to any number of buttons, not just one button. Okay, so this is why I am referring the second method in this program. Even though right now I have only one button, I might ask you to add 2 or 3 buttons later. Okay, so my first work is done. So when you click on Gen BTN button, where the cursor is blinking, line number 26 will be called. It's very simple. Okay, so when you click on a particular button, this particular button, what do you want me to do? Okay, first get the number. Get the number what the user has typed. Okay, how do I get it? It's very simple. First, let me create a simple data type or a variable called limit is equal to limit. You can name it as n or number or whatever you want to keep that as. Okay, just so you understand, the limit of numbers to be generated is what I'm asking. That's why I put the word limit. You can also put n, num, whatever you want. Okay, so limit is equal to whatever they have typed in the text box. Text box is limit txt dot get text. Okay, since it's not a string, I'm going to say to string, but that is not going to work because I'm trying to store it in an integer. So what should I do? Okay, wrap it using integer dot parseInt. I hope that line is clear to you guys. All right, so I'm just trying to get whatever the user has typed in the text box, convert it into a string, then parse it into an integer, store it in limit. Done. Now I've got the limit. Is that enough? No, because I'm not generating the Fibonacci series in this page. I want to go to the next page. Okay, so since I want you to go to the next page, okay, so when you're moving from one activity to another, we use, okay, not only one activity, let me keep it like this. When you are, guys, listen this carefully. When you are moving from one component of Android to another, okay, whenever you are moving away from one component to other, okay, the concept which you are using or the keyword you are not supposed to remember to go from one place to another in Android is intent. Please remember the keyword, guys, intent. I'll take a little bit more detail about it when the theory I discuss this. Okay, but remember this intent means my intention. What is my intention? To go home or to go to a particular place, all right, or to go from one room to another. The intent. Okay, so where do you want to traverse or where do you want to go? All right, so here the keyword is intent. Okay, please remember the keyword intent. So I'll create an object of that. I'll just say I. Okay, you can name it whatever you want there. Okay, you can also name it as Fibo intent. Okay, that I leave it to you guys. How you name it is totally into your hands. It's always better to name it appropriately, not A, B, C, D or I, F, J, K. All those things are not required. Okay, so always it should make sense. So let's try as much as possible. Otherwise, not a problem. But when you go to an industry, they will have a set of instructions. They'll have a procedure. You'll have to follow that way only. Because today you will be creating this way and going. Another person when he comes, he'll write another way. Third person when he comes, he'll not be able to understand what is happening in that software. So when you write a code for a company, they will have some restrictions of naming variables, naming methods, naming classes. You will have to follow their convention. But in college, in your own practice, do whatever you want. But always keep that in mind. It is a good practice to name variables appropriately. All right. Just to give you an example, when we were conducting this fest on all those things, when there's a coding round, okay, one of the judging criteria was naming of variables. Okay, I'm just telling this for you guys to remember. All right, judging criteria said indentation as well as naming variables. How you have written the code, how you have presented your code also matters. Okay, not just writing it however you want. No need to bother about cases, no need to bother about the words. Some people just use ABC for everything. Okay, but keep that in mind. Always give some name which you can later identify. Okay, here I am following my own way. but when I go to a company, I'll see what is their way, I'll follow that way. Okay, that's how we have the standard here. Let me move on. Let me just create a new object. Because intent is a class, I'm going to create an object of that particular class. Since intent is a class, I cannot talk to it directly. I create an instance of that particular class. Alright, so I can't create an empty intent because it's not like I'm not going anywhere. I have to go from this activity, which means from main activity, I have to go to Fibo activity. Okay, from main activity, I want to go to Fibo activity. That's what I'm trying to tell. How will I represent this class? How do I represent this class? Okay, please remember this. How do I represent the current class in which I am in? You cannot refer it directly, but rather you can just say this. This refers to the current class in Java. Remember that. From here, where do you want to go? You want to go to Fibo activity. Okay, you can't say Fibo activity.java because that's what is here. Okay, you cannot give that. The technical definition is something else, but for your understanding, I'm telling, okay, what is the class? Fibo activity.class. Go from here to there. Okay, in the next class, I'll also talk about something called context. But before that, please remember a simple one because I don't want to go to that level. Okay, so just remember this is the context. From context means area, right? Okay, so in which area, from which area would you like to go? From this area. So from this class to this class. This is the from address. This is the to address. Okay, because you are sending or you are asking to go. Okay, from where to where. Just like how you see in Google Maps. From this location where you are currently to some place name. Okay, so that's the from and to. Okay, sometimes the from you type, sometimes the system says this location, current location. Okay, just like that here. This is the current location. Where are you right now? This page, this class. Okay, so this represents the current object of the current class. Okay, so and Fibo activity is the second page which I want to open, but I won't open the .java file because when you're running, there is no .java file. When you're running, there is only class files. While you're compiling, there is Java file. Okay, but when you're running, it is class. Remember that. Now, all I need to type here is start activity. I want you to start the next activity, and please note what is the parameter I'm supposed to pass for activity. Okay, I want you guys to note the first one. There are a lot of other things, but look at the first one only. Only one I'm bothered about. What am I supposed to pass here? I'm supposed to pass an object of an intent. Okay, the intent will have from and to address. All right, so a letter will have from and to address. Like just like that, this intent is just like a letter. Okay, whether that letter has content or not is in your hands. Right now, the letter, the intent is just created. It just says go from here to there. That's all. It didn't say take this number and go. Please remember that. Okay, so keep that in mind, and I'll say start activity. Within brackets, I'm supposed to pass an object of the class called intent. Do I have it? Yes, I have it, which is Fibo intent. Done. My work is done, but my logic is not correct. Okay, please note why my work is done and the logic is not correct. I have taken the number from the user. When you click on the button, I've taken the number from the user and I've created an intent, but nowhere I've used this limit. How will the next activity get this number? Okay, there is no way, because you remember I told you about life cycle. This runs in its own life cycle. Fibo runs now Fibo activity will have its own life cycle. Once it starts, it will work in only its life cycle. Why will it bother about what happened in main activity? Okay, so how do I pass data from one activity to another? Okay, how do I go from one activity to another? Intent. Very simple. Okay, so if intent is already going, why not give this data to this intent so that the intent will carry it? Okay, I'm going to do that. I'll just say Fibo intent dot put something extra. Don't go empty handed. I'll give you something extra. Okay, please remember that. I'm going to call an intent. What is the work of an intent? Go from here to there. That's all. Okay, and then I'm telling start activity with this intent in mind. So like a letter has been sent, but the letter normally is going as empty. But if you want to do, you can also put something extra and send inside. Okay, so what am I putting extra there? Okay, please note extra you can send integer, byte, character, long, float, integer array, short, bundle, byte array, character array, like that. Lot of things you can send, But I want you guys to notice one thing on the left and the right. Two values you are keep on passing. Okay. What is the value which you pass is the name and the value. Value can be of different types. Name should be in string. Okay. So let me just put extra. Okay. Let me give a name. I'll name it as lim or num or limit. Okay, whatever. Since I've already used the word limit, I'm just putting the word lim so that there's no confusion. Second one, what is the value of this name? Whatever I got from the user. Done. That's all is the code, guys. Okay, but this is very simple and it goes fast. All right, so you take the number from the user, you create an intent from here to there, and inside that intent you are putting something extra because I want to take that number from this page to another page. Just like how you send a get or post in servlets. Okay, when you click on submit, it takes to the servlet and the servlet pulls that value. Just like that, I'm going to send an intent with something extra. This name I have given, guys, you can change it to whatever you want. Okay, but please note this is the name. In other words, this is the key. Using the same key only you should call it in the next page. You can, this very case sensitive. Remember, Java is very case sensitive. So is XML. Java and XML is case sensitive. Remember that. Okay, but last semester when you guys did servlet or JSP, Java is case sensitive. HTML is not case sensitive. There was a difference there. Here, there is no difference. Both of them are very sensitive with the case of how you write the variable name. Please be aware of this. Okay. So anyway, that's all is the code, guys. But I'm going to add a little bit more. I told you. Let me add something more. Okay. The moment it hits this line, till this line, nothing will happen. But this line, what will it do? It will go to the next activity. It will open the next activity by taking this intent and taking this value also, and it will open the second activity. This line, please note this line. Now, I don't want this line to call immediately. Rather, I want to show one progress dialog before you show me the next activity. What should I do? Let me just do a progress dialog. Okay. So I'm going to type something called progress dialog. There is an inbuilt class called progress dialog, and let me name it as PD progress dialog is equal to. All right. There is an inbuilt method. Okay. It's not a, you're not creating a new object. Rather, you're going to create a method which will give or return an object of progress dialog. So you just say progress dialog dot show. Okay. It just say progress dialog dot show. Why it's all striked out is because it is deprecated. Okay, when I say deprecated, it is no longer supported by developers. Instead of that, they're expecting you to use a different one. But since it was already there and some apps still use it, I'm just going to show this. Okay, so what is the context? Again, from where? Here only, this. That's the context. Second one, what is the title of your progress dialog? What will be shown in the title? I'm just going to put the word loading with the 3 dots. Okay, I'm typing this. All right, next one. What will be the message? What do you want to show the user? I'm going to say, please wait while we generate the Fibonacci series. Okay, we are just putting that. And last one, is it indeterminate or is it cancelable? I'm going to just say, I think this is enough. Remaining I'll just ignore. Okay, so I'll just say only this much. Progress dialog dot show in this page. Title will be loading. Message will be please wait while we generate the Fibonacci series. Okay, that's all. Now, while you're typing, guys, I think those who have worked with PyCharm should not have a problem. The ones which you see before this, some of them made that mistake. That's why I'm telling, because I've encountered a lot of geniuses in my teaching here. Okay, so look at this. I did not type the word context colon this. I only typed the word this. ID is showing that this is the context. Okay, so those geniuses who copy, they will write context colon this, comma, title colon loading, comma, message colon message. Okay, that will throw an error because I did not type this. What is coming here is system's way of telling you what it is. Okay, not my way. I only typed the word this. Context automatically system put it. I did not type this. If I delete it, it will go. Okay, I just typed the word this and I leave it. Context came automatically. Remember that. I know it's a silly thing, but There are people who did that also. All right. Now, when I'm showing the progress activity, next line immediately you set start activity. Okay, so while I'm showing the progress, you will not be, if I run the program now, even though there'll be a progress dialog code written, you will not be able to see the program, because after this immediately it'll jump to line number 32. In line number 32, it will show the next activity. So you will not be able to even see the progress dialog. So what should I do? Because it'll be so fast. I don't have much work here. So it'll be fast. I want to make it a little bit slow. I want to create a countdown timer. Okay, I want the system to wait for 5 seconds before going to the next page. How do I do that? Create a countdown timer. Okay, let me name it as CDT is equal to new control space. It will give you a suggestion, guys. Just follow the suggestion. That's all. Press enter. It will create something. I know it's a big one, but basically it's just creating an object. Please note what I typed. I only typed this much. Countdown timer, some name equal to new control space. There is something coming. I'm just pressing enter. All right, and obviously do not forget to put semicolon first so that that error goes off. Second error, it's showing here. Let me see what is it expecting. Okay, two constructor values it is expecting. One, how many milliseconds in the future you want to count down to, and second one, how long do you think is an interval. Okay, now let me tell you what these things mean. Okay, just follow, guys. It's not that difficult. It's very simple. All right. First one, how many milliseconds you want to go? I'll just put 5,000. What do you mean by 5,000? 5 seconds. I want you to wait for 5 seconds before you go to the second page. Second one, what it is asking is, how long is an interval for you? What do you mean by an interval? Please note, in a clock, okay, there's the smallest needle is the one which says seconds, right? Every time the second that particular stick ticks, we use the word timer ticks. Okay, it is 1 second. How many milliseconds do you think is a countdown interval? I'll just say 1 second. Please remember this. What I've done, milliseconds, right? 1000 milliseconds is 1 second. So what have I basically told? I have just told I want you to count for 5 seconds. You can change the number however you want. And 1000 means one interval for me. Countdown interval is 1000, which is 1 second. So every 1 second, this code will be called. I'm not writing anything here. I'm going to leave this blank. Okay, but just telling you. I'll give a scenario, guys. Okay, and how these methods will get called. Just look at this. Countdown timer will start counting for 5 seconds. After every 1 second, it will call this method called on tick. Okay, and once that 5 seconds is over, it will call on finish. Every second you want to show something, write the code here. Every time the countdown timer is closed or work is done, 5 seconds is over, it will execute this block of code where line number 40 is there. Okay, keep this in mind, guys. Every time the countdown interval reaches, which means 1000 milliseconds it reaches, every 1000 milliseconds on tick will be called. And after 5000 milliseconds on finish will be called. What do you want? I want you to wait for 5 seconds and then close the progress dialog. Okay, close the progress dialog, start the next activity. So I'll cut this code and I'll put it inside on finish. And once 5 seconds is over, close that progress dialog. So I'll just say dismiss. Dismiss the progress dialog. You said show here. Now I'm saying dismiss the progress dialog and start the next activity. That's it. Okay, that's all I've done in the first activity. Please remember this. So what have I done? Taken a limit, intent, put that intent, but I did not start the activity. Rather, I am showing a progress dialog to the user. So the user will be seeing this dialog for 5 seconds because I put a countdown timer for 5 seconds. And once 5 seconds is over, progress dialog should be closed. Next activity should be open. Simple. Okay. Please note, all these things are fine, but one thing I forgot is I have not told the timer to start. Progress dialog you have told to show, but you have never told the timer to start. Okay, so what should I write? Before that semicolon, I'll just write dot start. That's all. This is the one, the bracket which opens here, guys. Remember, I've just put dot start. Okay, or you can just write it outside that and say CDT dot start. That's also fine, but you can just concatenate and write it. Okay, whatever is easier for you, follow that. I've just told to start. That's it. Let me see what has happened so far. Then we'll go to the second activity. Let's see whether my first activity works as I'm looking for. Okay, second activity, I've not written any code, guys, yet. All right, but all I've done is first activity is proper, which means the first activity when I've run on create, it will just do this. On click of the button, it will do these much things. So let me just check whether all those things work. Let me open my emulator. The program is going to run. Okay, it's running now. Let me enter a limit. Let me just put 5 or something. Okay, doesn't matter because I've not written the second part of the code, so nothing will happen right now. But when I click on the button, what is the first thing? Get this number. Second thing, create an intent. Third thing, put the number what you have taken into that intent. None of this will be shown to you. But this line number 31 should be shown to me. When I click on generate, I should be able to see a progress dialog. And next line, what is happening is a countdown timer should have started. Once the countdown timer runs for 5 seconds, and after 5 seconds, so 5 seconds I'll be seeing this progress dialog. And once the progress dialog, 5 seconds is over, once it is finished, progress dialog will go and the next activity, Fibo activity should open. Let me click on generate and see what happens. You can see there is a loading screen that's called the progress dialog. 5 seconds it is going to come, and after 5 seconds it opened the next page. By the way, Fibo activity, nothing is there, so you're not seeing anything. But I hope you guys got it, right? Let me show it once again to you guys. I am right now in the main activity. When you click on this button, what you see is called a progress dialog. Okay, let me just click on that. Progress dialog is running continuously for 5 seconds because countdown timer has started. And after 5 seconds, the dialog goes away and then the next activity starts. You can see that's step by step how it is happening. Okay, I hope this is clear to you guys. So first part of my program is done. Let's go to the second part. I assume that there's no queries so far. If it is there, please do ask at the end of the session. Okay, let me just go to the next part. Let me quickly finish the second part also so that the app is done. Okay, let's go to the second part, Fibo activity. Okay, I hope this is clear to you guys. From one activity, I am just taking you to the next activity. Let me go to fiboactivity.java. Now, this is a fresh activity which nothing has happened yet. What am I supposed to do now? I am supposed to take the number what you have passed from the previous page. Remember this. What number you have passed to me here, this intent put extra, this value I am supposed to pull here. How do I pull that value? So what I'm going to do is number one, there's a list view in my design, guys. So let me first initialize that list view here globally. So I'll create private list view. Okay, and an object, I'll name it as numbers list. Okay, that's my list view's name. Now, as soon as this program starts, first let me map that numbers list is equal to find view by id r dot id dot, I think I put lv Fibonacci. Okay, a list view which I kept for Fibonacci. Okay, that's it. So I have a list view and I've mapped it. Second thing, just list view is not enough. I need the number what you have sent from this activity. So whatever number you have passed here, I need to pull it. How will I pull it? Here you have put extra. So the opposite of that will be get extra. Okay, from where will I get it? That's the biggest question we have. How will I get it? Where will I get it? Let me go to Fibo activity and let me just call. Let me create a value here. I'll create another Java variable called limit here. By the way, it will not have any clash because this is a different class, that is a different class. Okay, so no issues. I'm going to say inbuilt method called get intent. By which intent did you come? Get that intent and say get extra. Okay, now while sending you don't have problem. While receiving, what type of data did you send? I need to look at that. So what type of data did I send? I sent an int. So I'll say get int extra. Second one, now it's asking two parameters. What is the name of that intent's value? I'll go back here. What's the name? lim. So I'll give that name as lim. It's a string. It should be a string. It will be a string. It is string for all. Last one, default value. Why am I asking a default value? What if you don't have a number? What should I take as assume as the default number? 0. If you are not passing anything, no number will be generated. Default value is 0. Ashte. Okay, I hope you got what I'm saying, right? So int limit, get intent, get int extra. Then you pass whatever you have got. See, I've called the activity, start activity using Fibo intent. Fibo intent has extra called as lim. Here what I'm doing, I'm saying get intent dot get int extra, get that value. What you have passed from there, get that, store it in limit. Now I have the value limit. Okay, so before even I proceed with the Fibonacci series, let's test whether I'm getting that number here. Okay, so I don't want to put a label and all, but I want to show something, a small alert or a small message to the user, but not using a control, but rather using a simple toast. Okay, what do you mean by a toast? I guess most of you would have seen in your phone. Okay, in your phone, when you're giving a call or when you're calling somebody who is already on a call, you'll say that a small toast will come at the bottom. The user is already on a call. That's called a toast. While calling, call forward optional. All right, that will be coming at the bottom of the screen. That's called a toast. Okay, so let me just type toast. Okay, so you see, ID is giving you a suggestion saying create a new toast. Let me just press enter. Okay, it will automatically put the code. All you need to tell is what text do you want to display. Okay, I want to display the limit is whatever you have got right now. Okay, please note, I get the limit from the intent what you passed me. That's the value. Okay, so I'm just checking whether what I've got is correct or not by putting a toast. Okay, so I'm just saying the limit. How do I create it? I just put toast. I started typing toast. Don't type the first one. First one means you have to manually type everything. Just choose the second one, which says create a new toast. Press enter. It will create the code for you. Ignore this part and this part because it's very simple. First one says where do you want to show the toast. Last one says how long do you want to show that toast. Okay, there is two choices, short and long. Okay, so I'll just say there are two choices, length long, length short. Let me just change it. By default it will be short. Let me just change it into long. Now what do you want to show the user? I'll say the limit passed is, I'll concatenate that with whatever I got from that int, get intent, get int extra. Okay, now let me run the program and check. Am I reaching till this point? Am I getting the number to this activity? That's very essential. If I don't get the number properly, no point in writing my entire code, right? So let me just go back and wait for my activity to run. And my activity is running right now. Let me give, let's say 11 as the number. Okay, and once it is done, I'm going to click on generate. This is first activity, guys. I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for the second activity score. So let me click on generate. When I click on generate, after 5 seconds, I should be able to see the second activity and a small toast here. Here, the limit passed is 11. Okay, I'm getting the toast. Okay, since I got the toast, I am very sure that the number is coming back to me. Let me show it once again. It is small, but you should be able to see at the bottom here. That's called a toast, guys. Okay, you would have seen this so many times in your phone. This is the one. The limit passed is 11. So I've got a toast. Okay, this is how you write a toast. Okay, this is very helpful for debugging to see what value is reached, and because putting it in a label is a very irritating task. But other than that, you can just put toast and then see for yourself what data is there in any particular time. It's like those who have done alert in JavaScript. You just put alert and see whether it is reaching this particular point. Or some people use console.log. Some people put echo just to see whether it has reached that particular point. We normally use toast to see whether you have reached that particular point. Okay, remember this. That's what I put. Let the toast be there itself. Now I am very sure that I've got the number. If I get the number, can I generate Fibonacci series? Yes, I can. Okay, I'm going to use a simpler way. I'll not touch the on create because I don't want to complicate the code. Let me write a simple method. Okay, this is what I'm saying. Differentiate the code and the Android part. Now what I'm writing is not Android code. It is just Java code. Okay, so I'm going to create a simple method. Let me create public or private, whatever you want. Okay, let me create it as static, and return type, I want an integer array. Okay, I want an array of integers because Fibonacci series is not a number. It's a list of numbers, or it's an array list. Okay, why array? Because more numbers under one name. So I wanted to return an integer. So I'll just say generate Fibonacci or calculate Fibonacci or something like that. I'll just put generate Fibo or Fibonacci, and you should pass the limit to me. Okay, I hope this method is clear. I've not done the code yet, but I'm just saying the method just takes a number and generates that many numbers and returns it as an integer array. Why am I using an integer array? Because you are going to display the answer in a list view. Alright, list view will not take one number. It takes an array of numbers, a list of numbers. That's why it's called a list view. Okay, but I'm not taking it as a list. I'm taking it as an integer because there's a reason for that. Okay, I want you guys to remember this is since you guys come from core Java, I am not getting inside that part, but you cannot say this is the same way how your systems work. There are two types of int. One is this. The other one is, you guys would have seen it here, integer. Okay. So first you need to understand what is the difference between writing int and integer. All right. Int is called as a primitive data type. Okay. Primitive data type is int, float, all these things are primitive data types. Okay, then what is integer? There's a wrapper class. Okay, it's a little bit more heavier or professional way of calling integer. Okay, integer is the full name, int is a nickname like that. Okay, so int is not a proper way to attach values to a list view because list view belongs to Android. Okay, in Java there is no such thing as list view. There is array list. Okay, list view is a list of elements that is only there in Android. So you will have to convert your array of integer to a list of integers. I hope you follow. You cannot take int, you need an integer array. Okay, so but I am creating it as an integer int array right now. Later I'll convert it into a integer list of integers. Okay, please note the word I am using, int and integer, both are not the same in this case. Okay, both holds the same data, but one is a wrapper class, one is a primitive data type. Remember that. Okay, so let me create inside this. I'll create an array, int array called int array called as series, and let me create a new. You know how to create a new int array, right? You should pass the limit here, which anyway the user is passing to me. Okay, so I'll take the integer. Int array, that is done. Next one, you know the first series obviously will be the value. That's why I'm not taking for loop here. Series of one first value and the second value you already know. That's what is the thing of Fibonacci. 0 and 1 you cannot change. 0 and 1 is always 0 and 1. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is since 0th element or the first element and second element is done, I'm going to write the for loop for. Okay, I is equal to 0 and 1 is done, guys. Okay, so I'm going to say for I'll use the systems way for I. Int I is equal to not 0, I'll say 2. Why? Because 0 and 1 I've already put the value manually. Remaining I want the system to generate it. So I'll put equal to 2. Limit I is less than the limit whatever you have passed, I plus plus. Okay, so how do I generate the next number? Very simple. Series of I. Okay, that's right now 2 is equal to series of 0 and series of 1. But I cannot write 0 and 1. If I write 0 and 1, every value will be 1 only. But instead of that, I'll write series of, let's say, I minus 1 plus series of I minus 2. That's it. I hope you guys know this way of Fibonacci also, right? So last one, I'm going to say return series. Done. A small method which will take a number, generate Fibonacci series and return an int array. Okay, I've written this, guys. This is the logic. Okay, this logic can be replaced with your logic, whatever you want to generate. Right now, I want to generate a Fibonacci series. If you want to generate prime number, you write your own logic here. I hope this is clear. Right, so this is how you generate a Fibonacci series in Java. Okay, so I hope this logic is clear to you guys. I need not explain, I believe, but anyway, series of 2. The first time when you run, it is 2. 2 is equal to 2 minus 1. What is 2 minus 1? 1. Series of 1 is this value. 2 minus 2 is 0, this value. So these two will get added. Okay, and it goes on like that for how many ever numbers you have given. I hope this is clear. Let me go to the next part. Let me go back to my code. Okay, now I'm going to talk to two lists. One is a list view. The other one is an integer list. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to create a list of integers. So let me just create list of integer. Okay, and why is that error coming? Because I did not press control space while I'm typing. I just typed the entire thing. So I'll say list of integer. Please note, not an int. You cannot take a primary data type and attach it to a list view. List view requires a list of data. Okay, so I create list of integer. Let me name this list as Fibo list is equal to new array list. Okay, that's all. Nothing else is required. Guys, I'm presuming that you already know core Java collections, which is list. Okay, I think you would have utilized it in some point of time because it was there in the last semester. Both of you, both the batches had this. I hope you would have studied this. So I'm not explaining that much. Okay, next, what I'm going to do is whatever you got from this particular method, I've not passed it here yet. Okay, now I'll just pass it. So let me create a simple or let me just take that number and pass it. Okay, so I want to convert this int array to a list of integer. How do I do that? I'll just use a simple for loop. I'll use a different for loop, guys. I hope this also you would have covered because it is part of core Java. I'll create a element, okay, every element int which is there in this particular series. So I'll just call this method directly because I put it as static. So I'm going to call generate Fibonacci to the limit what I've got from the user. Okay. By the way, till now what I've written is still core Java only, not Android. Okay. Let me repeat it again. If at all it's gone a little bit confusing, I'll tell this. Let me just put this method. I hope this is clear, right? You give a number, I'll give you an integer array of Fibonacci series. And why have I put static? Because I can directly call it without creating an object. Okay. I'll close this. Now, what is wrong with being an integer or int array? Int array cannot be mapped to a list view because my output is going to be displayed in a list view, right? So for that, it is not possible if it is an int array. So I have to convert it into a list of integers. How do I do that? Take each and every element, each and every number in that particular int array. Okay. Why am I writing like this? Generate Fibonacci will return an integer array, right? So when I call this method, it will just generate an integer array. And what I'm going to do here is for each and every time you do it, I call that Fibo list and add that element. That's all. Now you have a list of integers. Okay. What did I have then? I had an array of int. I converted that into a list of integers. That's it. Now it's very simple anymore. Okay, but it's not that simple also because one is from core Java, one is from Android Java. So I need to mix these two together. I have to convert them together. Just like how, for example, in your power socket at home, in the power socket, what we are using for our charger and all right now, the voltage which is coming is 220 to 240 watts we are getting. Okay, but when your laptop doesn't require that much, your phone also doesn't require that much. Okay, so when you put a charger, okay, charger is the word which we use, but the people, they would not use the word charger. Technical people will use the word adapter. Okay, what is the meaning of that word adapter? Okay, adapter takes the value as, like, for example, in your phone charger or phone adapter takes 220 watts and your phone requires 18 or 13 or 11 watts. I'll only send that much. I'll adapt it or I'll convert it to something which is required by you. Okay, that is called as an adapter. So I am going to use an adapter here. Why? Because I have a list of integer which belongs to core Java and I want to attach it to a list view which is there in Java, Android Java. Okay, so I'm going to call something called as array adapter. Okay, I'm going to create an object of array adapter. All right, please note for what data type. Data type is integer. This array is only going to be used for integers. I'll talk about other arrays later. Okay, so array adapter for integer. I'm going to just name it as adapter, nothing else. Okay, just the word so that you know what it is. What is its work? Its work is to convert or make sure that Android list view and Java's integer list works together. Okay, that's the work of the adapter here. So I'm going to create an object new array adapter of integer again. Okay, and what are the things I'm supposed to pass? Okay, now it's very essential to follow what are the things to be passed because there's a list of data required. Okay, by the way, guys, what is shown on that system here is all technical words. I am going to use simple words to understand. All right, first one, what should I pass? Okay, please note, where do you want this adapter to work? first one. Okay, where do you want it? Here in this class. So I'm going to use the word this. Okay, I'll explain it a little bit more in depth when we talk about adapters in another class. Okay, but I'm just trying to finish this program. One is, where do you want to run this adapter? This class, okay, which is Fibo activity, not main activity. Second one, layout. How do you want to display it? Okay, please note how to display. Two choices are there. One, use inbuilt. There is an inbuilt design available. You can use that. That's what I showed you in the PPT in the other class. List view, there are three types. Those are inbuilt available. The first one, what you saw. Inbuilt list view supports two text in one item. Okay, I don't want that much. I just want to display one item, right? So I'm going to use a simple list item, which is an inbuilt resource. Please note, it is looking for an ID. Okay, resource ID. Okay, you can create your own resource or you can call the system resource. Okay, last one, the third one is an integer array of objects or list of integer. I have a list of integer. So only three things I'm going to pass. Number one, where do you want to display it? How do you want to display it? What do you want to display? So three questions I'm answering. Number one, where do you want to display this? What do you mean by that? This class, Fibo activity. Second one, how do you want to display? Okay, if I start with R dot, it means my system, my project. Okay, but if I type like this, Android.R, it means system, inbuilt, not the one which I am creating. My resources are referred by using R.layout, R.id. All these means my resources. If I write Android.R, it means system resources. Okay, in that one, I'm going to look for a layout, and the layout is simple list item 1. Please note, I did not create this because it's not from R, it is from Android.R. It is a simple list item 1. That's how I want you to display it. Last one, where do you want to display? What do you want to display? What is the data you want to display? That list, Fibo list. That's it. Okay, so adapter is created, but it has not been. See, just because you have an adapter doesn't mean your laptop will start charging. You will have to connect it to both ends, right? So that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to call that list view, what I created on top, which is called as numbers list, and say set adapter, this adapter. Now I've connected both the ends. I hope this is clear to you guys. All right, that's all. Code is done. Okay, let me run. I'll explain that again to you guys later, but try to get the logic of what I've told so far by referring to this video and doing this program. This is a lab record program, guys. You will have to do it and keep the record format ready. I'll share the record format shortly, but first do the program. Record and all we'll see later, but this is a record program. You have to do it individually. Okay, let me go back to my program and see whether it works. My app is running. Let me just give 11 or 12 or how many numbers you want. I'm giving a bigger number because I want to scroll through the list item. Okay, so I have 11 and let me click on generate. It's showing a progress dialog. Okay, it shows a progress dialog. After 5 seconds, it should go to the next page with 11 numbers here displayed to me as a list view. And I also saw a toast because I've written the code for that. Let me go back. Let me give a bigger number. Give me the first 50 Fibonacci numbers. Let me click on generate. Again, it shows, because I've given the code like that, it shows loading screen. Okay, and there are 50 numbers being generated. Limit passed is 50. I have 50 numbers. I can scroll. You can see this. I have a list view with me. Okay, it will not be correct, but at least 50, right? My way of working will not do justice because the number is going bigger. But anyway, you can scroll. That's what I'm going to look at here. You can scroll and see this is the list view. Okay, nothing is happening when I click on it, which I'll do in the next class. Okay, but right now, this class, all my target is just to see I've created a simple list view with few controls which we used, and we have gone through all these concepts in a short format. We will go in depth of these things, but I want you guys to try this on your own. Okay. Now, if you ask me, can I write this code here itself? Yeah, you can write it. I just wanted to divide the work. So this is logic. I used the logic here and I used an adapter to convert or to connect these two from my list view of Java to a list of integers from core Java. Okay, that's all I've done, guys. So I think this is clear to you guys. If you have any questions, please do ask. Otherwise, we'll stop with this for today.